Welcome, Collective Timeless Energy. I'm Barbara. This is a general timeless reading. This is entertainment purpose only. If it does not resonate, please do not try to make it fit. Watch out for scammers in the comment section below. This is my disclaimer. It is not me. I do not reach out. I have a little bit of a breeze. I'm not quite sure where it's coming from. It's blown out my candle. I suppose that information will be part of my read. I thank you for liking. I definitely thank you for subscribing. I need to build my channel. By all means, if you're watching this today or anytime in the future, press that subscription button, sweetie. I need some little help there. And thank you very much for your comments. Those are always appreciated. And of course, donations, the link through PayPal. Now, anybody who's watched me before know that I pull a runes oracle. I know I use the same cards all the time. But you know what? Things are a little upside down right now in the process of moving. And I need to be really careful with laying things around or setting up my station. It's kind of like a upside down kind of thing. Okay, Spirit guide me. We need one runes oracle 4, and there it is. That was fast. I shuffled. Trust me, I shuffled. Iwitz, you would. The passage. This rune represents death. It's a magical sign. It can be associated with the notion of protection against danger. And wouldn't we like to have a little bit of protection here and there? Because there's so much going on in the world. Okay, now we all know that I do a 3-card read. As the shuffling doesn't take too long, but it does take a minute. Spirit guide me. Spirit guide me. We need 3 cards for today's timeless energy message. Spirit guide me. Spirit guide me. We need 3 cards for today's timeless energy message. Spirit guide me. Spirit guide me. Spirit guide me. Spirit guide me. 3 cards for today's timeless energy message. I have the 9 of Swords. That took a little bit of a second because I pulled the card and I set the deck down and it almost spilled right over. And that is the second odd thing that happened during the course of this read. Okay, we need 2 more cards. 2 more cards for the timeless energy message today. 2 more cards. 2 more cards for the second card for the timeless energy message today. 2 more. Oh. The Empress. And it is in reverse. 1 more card for the timeless energy message today. Spirit guide me. 1 more card for the timeless energy message today. Spirit guide me. 1 more card for the timeless energy message today. Spirit guide me. The Queen of Swords in the upright. Okay. And we have our energies, our 3 cards. What are we looking at? The first 2 cards are the chakra, the sacral chakra. Oh, they're both sacral chakra. This is the third eye, which is actually my favorite one and the one I know the best. The sacral chakra energy is you have a good relationship with money and you let it flow. You're aware of your sexuality and you're comfortable expressing it. You're able to connect easily with other people and you're creative. You have goals and interests. This is the energy of the sacral chakra. I like to use the sacral chakra. Usually I mention what they mean, like, while I'm doing the read, but since they're sitting there both together, it's kind of like doubling the energy of that chakra in the read. And I like to be a little clear about, what we're doing in the read. Now, the Nine of Swords in the upright, right here. This would be concerning anxiety. Anxiety stands right out with this. I mean, there are other things connected to the Nine of Swords. Negativity or subject of gossip. Anxiety tends to stick out with me personally, which is why it stood out directly the minute that I saw that energy. Most often, the things we worry about, we could spend hours agonizing over something. We worry about all kinds of things. As an adult, more often than not. Maybe not as much when you're younger. But you know what? Do you have enough money to pay the bills? Is somebody going to get sick? Is somebody going to be unfaithful? You can give yourself panic attacks over anxiety. And you know what? I have, most of the time, would it be the mother? Not necessarily. If you are a caregiver, you can be prone to anxiety. If you're watching over the children, regardless of whether you're the mother or the father or the neighbor, you can deal with a lot of anxiety. The Nine of Swords is basically representing that your anxiety or what you're worried about is nothing more than in the back of your head thoughts. Probably will come to nothing. See, the thing about it is most people, when they're having anxiety attacks or they're anxious about something or you're going overboard worrying about something, you have anxiety about trusting people. And you have to count on what they say is actually going to happen. Now, I always had a rule that I'm not going to make a promise unless I can keep it. And you know what? That's really a good rule. Because that way, if something doesn't happen because no fault of my own, it doesn't fall into place the way I thought it would. I don't have to worry about breaking my word. But we're living in a world where a lot of people will make promises. And then you're counting on them. We're living in a world where people have had many difficulties and hardships and only count on themselves. The less anxiety that we have, of course, the better off we're going to be, because it can affect your health. Now, with the Nine of Swords, you can be versatile. You could also have the energy of being cunning or calculating. We're dealing with Mars. Very aggressive. Die for the cause. Possibly cunning. Possibly calculating. But what I'm looking at here and what really resonates with me is the Nine of Swords energy of anxiety, your fears. Your fears and your anxiety are really no more than imaginary thoughts in your head. And things can become inflamed by the things that you worry about. Now, the thing is with anxiety, you're alone with your worries. It's always recommended by somebody who does counseling, as my guess, that if you have anxieties or you're worried about things, that you should share these things that you're worried about with the people that you have around you. That depends on the situation, if you resonate with this, because being talkative and sharing your feelings or your anxieties or your worries, that could backfire. Definitely depends on how far the person that you share that information with is, whether they can use it against you or manipulate the situation with the information you've shared. Now, next we have the Empress. Now, the Empress is the Taurus, Venus energy, Taurus being determined or steadfast and stubborn. Venus is love or beauty. Now, that is just not like being in love in a relationship type of thing. It's not automatically like for or given on that one. I like to explain that the Venus is love or beauty or love of what is it that you love. There are some people that love looking at themselves, taking photographs of themselves. There are some people that love traveling. There are some people that love cooking. There are some people that love the journalist energy of writing or books and reading. It depends on what it is that you love. Now, this is in reverse. The Empress is in reverse. So there might be a little bit lack of confidence, maybe lack of growth. Lack of growth connected to something that you truly might love due to negligence. Now, is this message so far pointing out that due to negligence it might cause some anxiety? Most certainly. Because if it's something that you're working on that requires a deadline or will determine a level of success, an achievement, or a goal, and you have neglected it, and the deadline gets closer and you're still neglecting it, you're having a good time, yes, that can cause anxiety. Now, with the Empress in reverse, this could be creative blocks. And anxiety can cause creative blocks. Many people meditate to reduce their anxiety. It can be an uncaring energy, which, the thing is, if you're having anxiety and you're feeling the energy off of someone that you're around, that you're not welcome, you could back off or remove yourself, become a hermit, and this whole situation could cause anxiety just because you're nurturing your feelings, you're pulling back. The Empress is expressing yourself. Creativity, decorating, gardening, cooking, writing, planting flowers. In reverse, that means that none of that is being done. And this anxiety, it may be caused by maybe something on that list needed to be worked on. And it's not getting done because you're not paying attention to it. You're not getting it done. You dropped the ball. so to speak. Now, the thing about it is, your anxiety can actually create a situation that doesn't exist. You're worried about something that you... What I fall back on is, do I have proof? Because, you know what, I tend to be a little on the anxious side all the time. And what I always fall back on to reduce my anxiety is, what kind of proof can I come up with that actually reflects the truth on what I'm feeling? Because, you know what, if I was psychic, I'd be making a lot more money. And that anxiety is just a feeling of stress where my mind is working overtime and I don't have any proof. With the sacral chakra here, this is being able to connect with other people. This is actually having a good relationship with other people and with money. But you know, the Empress is in reverse. And that says a lot. I mean, first you're dealing with anxiety, and then you're dealing with an Empress energy in reverse, which actually says that you've got somebody around you that doesn't really care. Or you're having creative blocks. Now, only take this if it resonates, because you know what? You're not going to be able to tell the difference about whether somebody cares about you. It is entirely the actions of a person and your gut instinct. But there is a lack of growth if you don't feel like somebody cares. There can be a lack of growth if you're having anxiety or if there's some kind of negligence in the situation. And believe it or not, withdrawing because of your anxieties or maybe for some other reason actually is negligence in a way, because some of us tend to be more hermit than others. And that is leaving other people to their own resources. In a way, you're not working very hard to become a part of anything. And that actually can create anxiety over a period of time. Now, the thing about it is, we have the Queen of Swords, and we have one more card, the Queen of Swords, to round out the timeless energy message. And the Queen of Swords is Aquarius energy, Uranus energy. Uranus energy is change. Making changes. Normally, it can be eccentric. It can be inventive. But in the top of the list would be a psychic energy of sorts. Your gut instinct requires that you step up to the plate and maybe make changes. You don't have to announce the changes. It doesn't say anything about announcing your changes. But just making a bigger effort to change something that might be causing your anxiety, or maybe change a pattern or a habit. Maybe you have not been right up on top of that workload and you've been neglecting it. Making a change. That's the Uranus. And the Queen of Swords. Actually, the Queen of Swords has to do with maybe communication a little bit. Honesty. When honesty with yourself or with someone else. The Queen of Swords is a nurturing energy, and the thing about it is, it has a keenness for the documenting of truth. Knowing how to solve a problem because you can see the truth of the matter. So, Plus, you're having anxiety. You have ignored responsibilities or something that maybe you should have been paying attention to. And it's building up and the deadline's getting closer. And you are dealing with the truth of the matter. The Queen of Swords will try her hardest to solve the problem. And because it's like a journalist or somebody that finds the truth or documents the truth, a journalist, in some cases a police officer, but finding a way to look at all angles of what exactly is going on. And if there's a way to fix it, there might not be. To be honest, there might not be a way to fix it. But seeing the situation from all angles, no matter how big or small the problem is, and finding a way, if it's at all possible, to solve the problem and try to be fair. Now, being fair is a great thing, but that doesn't guarantee that the energy of the Queen of Swords can solve the problem. Sometimes being able to point out where the real problem is hiding in there. You point out, like to your child, you know what? Don't you have a test on Friday? Because I haven't seen you pick a book up all week long. Okay? Solving the problem, seeing what the problem is, if it's at all problem. This is a nurturer. It's really a disservice to mollify people instead of actually coming out and pointing out this is what needs to be done. This is actually would help your situation or the entire situation if it's something that can be applied. Okay, so verbally, you're not going to sugarcoat it. Which my grandma used to say. You're not going to sugarcoat it. I think the presentation on that, if you're resonating with this message, that there might be a little bit of caution depending on your situation. Because even though you have a truth, don't sugarcoat it. Point out what, everybody has an opinion. And not everybody wants to hear your opinion. There are certain ways to go about it, and some people are heard, and some people are not heard. I would not be throwing caution to the wind on this one. If you resonate with this, take a good look at your own position before you verbally come out with any kind of opinion or advice. Now, the Queen of Swords can be a situation that compiles information. Dates and times, the shopping list, that type of thing. The secretary, the proofreader, the caseworker, the lawyer. That could be the energy. With the Empress, we go back. The Nine of Swords being agonizing, anxiety, stress, and then you go back to the Empress where you are looking at nurturing, the maternal protection. But this is like the energy of like compiling, the note taker, the list writer, the one who's not going to sugarcoat. They see a situation, something's going to fall if you put one more thing on that file. If you put one more thing on that list that takes all of your time up, you're not going to get this done or this done or that done. Okay. This is the Queen of Swords energy. Now, we have to remember that the Uranus with the Queen of Swords is change. With the energy of not sugarcoating it or pointing out something that somebody sees to somebody who's obviously in denial. I don't want to study right now, Mom. I want to watch this show. I want to go out and play with my friends. But the test is tomorrow, first thing in the morning. Don't you think you should sit down and study? No, I don't want to do that, Mom. Okay, so you kind of get the picture there. But the psychic energy of this is that you could be in your own little world and suddenly it will hit you. Because you know what? If we're not like able to say that we have psychic ability, most of us, but we all have an intuitive ability. Especially a parent, where you can be in the middle of something and your little antenna will fly right up, and suddenly you'll separate yourself from whatever it is you're doing. And sure enough, you will be in the right place at the right time when it's necessary. And children don't understand how we do that as parents. And some of us are better than others. It doesn't mean that we're psychic. It just means that there was a red flag somewhere, okay? So we all have credit for that. But this is where your third energy, your third eye, intuitive ability. And you know what? This is where the gut instinct of, you know what? I am trusting this intuitive ability. I know that there's nothing around me proving me right. But I have absolute trust in that gut instinct, that psychic ability, that little red flag. And then you go and you're not sugarcoating things and you're going, you know what, you're going to run out of time. You put one more thing on that list. You're not going to be ready for what we're planning on doing 4 or 5 months down the road. And that is the message that I think that we have today. Now the thing about it is the U-wood. Protection against danger. It does represent death or an ending or a transformation. Because, you know what, it doesn't always mean the literal death of a person, but the transformation or change, like Uranus is pointing out, a change. Alright? And this is protection against danger. You're worried sick? Okay, we went around, and then you point out, hey, okay, we want to avoid this calamity. Okay, so this is verbally pointing this out. This is the gut instinct of the intuitive ability. Probably somebody who's close to you who's going to verbally say, I'm not sugarcoating this. You know what? I see like we're gonna have a train wreck here. Okay? So, that is the message for today's Timeless Energy. I do appreciate you coming and spending time with me again today. I have several other videos. They are timeless. You can watch them anytime. I also make shorts out of the longer videos. And once in a while, if you want to pull up one of my shorts, give me a like. I definitely appreciate anyone who's watching that would like to subscribe. Press that subscription button. Your comments are always welcome. Your donations, there is a link through PayPal if you care to assist or help out in any way. And thank you. By all means, I will be coming back out again a little more often than I have been recently. And I thank you so much for all of your support.